Hey yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Wiz, finally back with another video. And in this video, I'm gonna go over the top 4 lenses that you can buy for the Sony E-mount system if you're just getting into the system or if you're like a beginning photographer, filmmaker. These 4 lenses right here, which this is 3 of them right here. These lenses are pretty much going to get you through the majority of any type of professional work or any type of just, passion projects or just everyday little simple things you want to do with a camera. So go ahead and sit back. I'm going to go over each lens, what I use them for, and yeah, let's go. So between 2020 and 2021, going into 2022, there's been so many different camera announcements. You got the A7 IV coming out. We've had the A1 drop, the Sony A7S III. I myself, personally, I still shoot with the Sony A7 III, and I know everybody's into buying the latest and greatest camera. I'm gonna hold on to my A7 III for a while, but we really need to focus on the glass because at the end of the day, the lens is really gonna give you more of what you want out of an image, or video than the actual camera body is in about 9 out of 10 scenarios. So number one, just off the break, especially if you are shooting on a full frame Sony camera, you're gonna want yourself a good 24 to 70 millimeter lens, and look no further than the Sigma 24 to 70 right here. Make sure it is the DG-DN lens. So refreshing. This is my favorite. So I've actually done a full review on this lens on my channel. You can go ahead and check that video out in the link above. But with this lens right here, I pretty much use this lens for everything. You can use this lens for a street photography lens. You can use this lens to put on a gimbal. It's not too big. You can use it for wide shots at 24. You can punch in at 50 and 70 for some good headshots. As far as video work is concerned, you got that constant 2.8 aperture running through the lens, so it's excellent in low light. There's not one scenario other than like if you want like a serious telephoto, or if you want like a super duper wide angle, like a 20 or a 16, there's really nothing that you can't get done with a 24 to 70, and that 2.8 aperture is just gonna work for you, in every situation. Now, I purchased this lens for about $10.99 last year. Yeah, 2020. I bought it last year for $1,100. I'm pretty sure it's probably a little bit cheaper. You can always go the used route, just make sure you're getting one that's in good condition. And like I said, you can get the 24 to 70 f4 Sony if you want. That would probably be like the next cheapest thing. But in terms of just overall value for what you're paying for, you really don't need to go any higher than this. I wouldn't really go below. You can get the G Master if you want to splurge, on a $2,000 lens. But if you do any type of just comparison on YouTube between this lens and the 24 to 70 G Master, you'll find that the almost double the price you have to pay for the G Master lens, it isn't worth what you're getting in this lens. And like I said, you don't really want to go beneath because you don't want to end up buying something that you're going to want to replace. I'm going to be good with this lens for years, and if you buy it, you'll be good with it for years to come too. Now, the next lens in my kit, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship for. I actually made a whole video, not really trashing this lens. I made a video about a lens, the Sigma 14 to 24, which I absolutely love. I rented it one time, and I was actually planning to buy that, and I kind of trashed this lens in that video, but I ended up buying it because it's just like with the 24 to 70 and the G Master, it's almost like half the price of that Sigma lens. This is a Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter. It's also 2.8 through and through, so we already know we got that excellent low light. But what I use this for is pretty much, vlogging, because you got that wide angle at 17, and it's also good for interior shots. I do real estate photography and video, so this is pretty much my go-to real estate lens. It's actually one of the more cheaper wide-angle lenses for the Sony system. Like I said, there's other options that are cheaper, but you're gonna get what you pay for. And I really didn't want to pay $14.99. I think it's like $14 or $13.99 for that Sigma 14 to 24. So that's why I went ahead and went with this. I think you can find this anywhere from like $7.99 to $8.99 on Amazon or B&H. Like I said, man, this is pretty much the best value, bang for your buck, wide angle lens you're gonna get. And the reason why I didn't like it initially is because I felt like I at least wanted 16 millimeters at the wide end, because that's what I was used to. 1 millimeter, there is a difference, but you know, when it all boils down to it, when you compare this to other lenses, value-wise, it really just pans out, and that's why I included it in my kit. So the next two lenses I'm gonna go over are actually Sony lenses, they're native lenses, and the first lens is going to be the Sony 85 millimeter 1.8. Now, if you know anything about 85 millimeters, you'll know that the compression that you get from an 85 millimeter on a subject, or you know, anything you're filming, it's just unmatched, you know, as far as headshots, just body shots of people. I would say the 85 millimeter probably makes people look the most flattering, whether you're doing video or photo. And I had to do like a lot of research when I was in the market for 85 millimeter, because if you just search on YouTube, you'll see they put this lens up against so many other lenses. You have the Sigma, I think it's like an 85 millimeter 1.4. They have a G Master 1.4. They also have like a Samyang or Rokinon 85 millimeter 1.4, which is actually cheaper. I think they have a Zeiss Vatis. And then you have this guy right here. It's like 5 or 6 lenses that they put this up against. Now, I actually caught a deal for this on OfferUp for about $450. But I think it retails still like around 500 brand new. But pretty much what I use this for, like I said, video, photo, depending on what I want the outcome to look like. If I want that 85 millimeter compression, you know, B-roll videos. There's 85 millimeter is probably one of my favorite focal lengths there are, and the Sony 1.8 version, again, I'm a big value shopper, so you get what you pay for. The 85 millimeter from Sony, I felt as though gave me the best value. $400 to $500, you really can't beat that. I would say you don't need an 85 millimeter in your kit, but if you just want something different, you know, even if you use the 24 to 70 2.8 and you do the crop mode and all that, it's just not the same when you have that prime lens. And plus, this is a 1.8 aperture. Look at that right there, 1.8. So you got that bokeh going on, man, and it's just, you know, it's nothing else like it. So if you're in the market for 85 millimeter, unless you want to, you know, splurge on the best, technically, you know, most expensive lenses out there, I would go with the 85 millimeter 1.8, especially if it's your first one. So this is never probably going to leave my kit. So I just threw that Sigma 24 to 70 on the camera so I can go ahead and show you my last lens here, which is the little itty bitty baby 35 millimeter 1.8. And I feel like this lens is the perfect companion to the 85 1.8. You know, they're both 1.8 FE lenses from Sony, and I feel like they complement each other well, because you have, you know, 35, you capture a little bit more, a little bit of more environment, you know, if you will, in your pictures, and then you have the 85 millimeter for that telephoto punched in look. But the reason why I bought the 35 millimeter is because, as much as I love the 24 to 70 that's on my camera right now, it's a 2.8. Sometimes you want that 1.8 aperture for, you know, that serious bokeh when it comes to just like environment. Prime lenses, in my opinion, they render just a different type of image in comparison to like the 24 to 70 or even like something like this. Any zoom, you know, you guys probably know if you know, active in the field using your stuff, the quality you get from prime lenses is just, it's way better than a zoom lens. You know, some people may not notice it. If you, like I said, if you use your camera a lot and you really just compare, you'll notice it, especially when you throw into the fact that this has a 1.8 aperture, and this lens is just beautiful for video. I'm not sure if you like really see the difference in you know, me recording with this lens now versus this lens. When I started this video, I didn't really adjust any settings. I literally just threw that lens on there, so I hope it even looks good. But like I was saying, another thing I like about this lens is that you can get like really, really close to your subject, and it actually focuses, so there's a very close focusing distance. Like I said, 1.8 aperture, got the prime 35 millimeter from Sony. This is a really good lens. I also got this used, I think, for about like $550 or somewhere closer to $600. I think it retails for like $600, if I'm not mistaken. So I must have gotten it like around $5 something if I bought it used, which I did. And yeah, I definitely love this lens, mainly for video. I don't really do too much environmental shots or street photography, but if that's something that you're into, I would definitely recommend this lens, especially for, you know, the class that it's in. Just like with the 85mm, you'll find competitors with this lens. They have a 35mm G Master, which is way more expensive. You have the 35mm 1.4 with Sigma. Samyang and Rokinon also make 35mm. They go up against this, but like I said, value shopper. If you look at, you know, my whole lens lineup, you know, I don't have the top-notch lenses. I don't have the you know, off-brand sorry lenses. I have the sweet spot lenses, the lenses that work. You know, they have the specs. They may not be perfect, but they're, you know, good enough. They're like above average to get the job done. And I feel like, you know, that's all you really need. If you want the top-notch stuff, you know, spend the money, go ahead and do that. But if you just want good, usable lenses, you know what I'm saying, that are gonna get the job done in almost every case, you cannot go wrong with these 4 lenses. And if you grab yourself a 17 to 28, a 24 to 70, an 85, and a 35, I mean, unless you want to go super telephoto, you're shooting wildlife, or you're shooting some sports where you know, you need a really, you know, crucial zoom lens that does like 200 or 400mm, I don't see why you really need to purchase anything else. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I went ahead and threw links to all the lenses I talked about in this video down in the description box below. So if you want to purchase or you just want to check them out, you know what I'm saying, they're Amazon links. You get all the specs and everything you want to know about them. Go ahead and click the link down below if you're interested. And until my next video, we'll catch you guys later on. Peace out.